with the slowest countdown that I have ever heard and also not using the proper transition. Welcome everybody to the first game of CSU today. We've got CSU Green Overwatch facing off against
I believe
University
it is
of
Northern
Houston.
Kentucky.
University of Houston downtown.
Oh, that was the previous round. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that is the other match. The other one is on the second stream is Northern Kentucky.
No, I apologize. This is Houston downtown.
Is University of Houston downtown. This is a match that we should be expected to win. I just checked. I was on my phone before this. I checked the schedule. I checked their standings. They are currently, I believe, 1 and 4. I believe we are the exact inverse. We're currently 4-1, 3-1.
Like if I can be a little bit more negative than I tend to be, I get that I glaze a lot. I feel like this could be a very scary point for CSU, where I feel like CSU has always played a little bit of their worst when they're playing against someone who they know they're better than.
Right now.
I feel like CSU's always about a little bit off of their game when they're playing against someone who they genuinely, absolutely have the advantage on. They tend to get a little bit confident, a little bit too big for their britches, and I'm not at all expecting that to cause a loss, but I'm interested to see if CSU's going to have to be able to find their way to work around that.
You say that, but I do think that, at the very least, when I was on the team, I felt like we would lock in the best when we should be recently beating, then we speak. Like, for example, last spring in Xavier Black, that we should beat reasonably comfortably 3-1 win. We ended up 3-0ing them in like 40.
I see.
And I think that's when, at the very least, when I was on the team, because we had that confidence, we had that experience with each other as well. You know,
We had Ty Munster.
We had Ty Munster, who was there for like since last spring. This spring, Jacob, who was the fall before I joined into last spring. They was there from last fall. Sorry, last fall, and then Cole joined in last spring. As we're here there since last fall, we had a very big amount of synergy. We played a lot together, especially me and Jacob, Jose and Dez as well. There was a big amount of synergy between the players on that team, so it makes sense as to why we might be stomping the teams that are below us just that little bit. This team, obviously very different. When you think about new players, Ohiki, Shamwow, Ghostface, and Captain Jr. 3 new players on this roster, so playing against a team that should be below them might be a little bit harder than it would for us.
I'm curious to see. We're gonna have to see if CSU's able to take it, or if Houston's able to bring it. We're gonna have to be able to see if we can take it, or if Houston's gonna bring us downtown. I don't know how to say words, and we've got an Overwatch game to watch, so. Well, we got a great game for y'all tonight, so feel free to stay tuned, take your clips, make sure to follow and subscribe if you're interested, and it'll be fun.
Initiating match. Ready for battle.
Alrighty then, I think that we are about to get into this first match. We're seeing some pretty expected compositions.
Yep, so my prediction that Sigma would eventually take over does not seem to have
Come true yet.
come true, yeah. We are still in a position where Arisa, unfortunately for me, I still have PTSD from the 20 hours a week I played on this character, but
Oh, yeah.
it was an experience playing that one. But CSU starting on the Cassidy, I think the Cassidy works a lot better than Sojourn in particular. Works better than, for example, an Ashmay.
I mean, with Sojourn nerfed into the ground, I think the Cassidy is definitely the better pick. How do you feel about this Moira? I feel like we haven't seen Moira for most of this stuff.
Moira equals bad. IMO. Not the best pick in the world. It really is just the definition of mediocrity.
Yeah, I kind of assume that given the fact that we really haven't seen her. That's going to be Scarlet Speed going down to CSU, allowing Alice to start absolutely shredding this Sojourn. And it's going to be CSU taking some major picks in order to win the first interaction, taking control of the point. Now, this specific point on Lijiang, I want to say?
Lijiang Tower.
On Lijiang, it's such a hard thing to recontest because of this choke point.
Because of the choke point, they did manage to take out I really won before the fight. Not having to deal with that break makes things slightly easier. Muhiki can't hold quite as aggressive of an angle. I say as he's holding quite an aggressive angle.
I mean, it's... look, I'm just happy to see Genji entirely, and I think Muhiki's doing a great job of it. Unfortunately, going to go down the moment I say something nice.
This is why you stop Blaze in a day. You don't want to give the bad juju, but it seems as though it's unavoidable at the end of the day.
It happens. Anything you say in the booth, it will be contradicted the moment you say it.
That's the law.
That's the law.
How things work, that ball will force out an early gold from Elizu, but CSU are coming in with 4 ults. Muhiki on the Genji, this is something that they have said they think Muhiki's best DPS is probably the Genji, or at least one of his best DPS, so it's a fortunate meta for them.
And there is the high noon. We're going to see CSU making the play here. He's going to force out the orbital laser from Houston here.
Having the second orbital ray would be such a massive advantage if Blade is pulled.
There goes the Sojourn. Ghostface unfortunately on going down with the Terror Surge. A lot of ultimates coming down, but I don't know if CSU is at an advantage here.
That rally should be able to stabilize a little bit. Need to get this Mei, grabs the Mega away from her, but she's being sustained a little too hard by that Moira that I called so mediocre. Has proved dividends.
We are at least going to see a takedown of the tank and the Mei here.
Oh, that's a big burst of damage. Alizu, or not Alizu, I really want needs to really survive to make this composition function. They did use 4 ultimates there as well. CSU, only 3 from Houston.
They burned a lot of ultimates, but they do still have access to that orbital laser, which could be major.
Yeah. Orbital Ray, obviously the best ultimate in either of these compositions. Blizzard's nice, but as long as Elizu's able to keep his gold in form, he'll be fine.
There goes the overclock. We're going to see Sojourn try and be a viable character again, but Muhiki just absolutely denying them. And there goes a bunch of University of Houston. That orbital laser, this is what we're talking about. This move, this single ultimate is so impactful. It just lets you do things like this.
This is starting to approach last fight territory as well from University of Houston. They can either take this one slow, try to build up a coalescence for this fight and sustain through the Terror Surge, or they can take a really quick one. Seeing the swap over to the Brig means that that is no longer an option.
I'm not sure
they're going to have to play a very slow fight now. I think the Brig is better, but you're losing out on that ultimate option.
I think the Brig is better, but I think that you can't give up your X Factor here. CSU is all, like, they're sitting on the Terror Surge. They're getting to the High Noon. They're getting to the Blade. You do not want to be going into these ultimates with nothing in your back pocket. You're basically just throwing all the money out of your wallet and praying you can make it back.
That early pick on a junior is nice, but CSU supports find the supportal combat, making their mirrors fall. This will be a cleanup now for CSU. Not too much to sweat about.
I'm loving this Genji play from Muhiki. Just absolutely shredding through Houston once that tank goes down. It really feels like it's Overwatch. You take down the tank, and the rest of things fall in place.
My favorite thing about Overwatch is if you listen to high-level comms, you'll hear one thing a lot that you won't hear in lower levels. Shoot the tank.
Kill him! Get him off the field!
Shoot Monkey. Shoot Orisa. Shoot Alga. Shoot whatever it
I want
is.
this horse made to glue.
An interesting metaphor. You could say scrap, given the fact that it is a metal centaur.
Listen, Orisa's a horse. You know what you do to horses.
Make their entire body into glue. That is true.
Exactly.
I have seen the glue factory myself, and you know, horses get turned.
I think that's what happened when Orisa drifted out for a bit.
Yeah, keep her out. Maybe we need a little bit more of a glue supply, but
we need a little bit of an adhesion specialist.
Drill Killer is coming back on the Moira. I'm not a big fan of the Moira personally, but I mean, it didn't work out for them great there. The switch onto the Brig was late. I think they should have here.
I think if you're going to switch to the Brig, you have to stay the Brig here. Like, I understand that you want to run the Moira. I'm going to say it's probably a comfort thing.
Probably.
You need to be on Brig for it. I don't think the Moira is going to help you here.
It'll be the touch here from University of Houston. CSU gives it away. Relatively uncontested. The cap will go through.
I mean, this is kind of CSU's White Willow.
A little bit. It's tends to be a little bit difficult for them to play the macro at this point, in particular on multiple points.
I was making some serious hits, but unfortunately, that's going to be for Houston. That's going to be the Moira going down. CSU might be able to start making some momentum here.
A spear, it'll send Doge the first into the wall. It's just clean up now for CSU. No trade opportunities there for Scarlet Speed.
Even though they were able to get on the point first, that's going to be University of Houston taking some major losses, and I think that's a team wipe. They're gonna have to rotate back in.
I think 1B2, 1bet OU there fell early to Captain Junior perhaps. The Tracer covering the offense is a good idea in theory, but in practice, if it loses the 1v1 to ties, it's a massive, massive fail.
Yeah, it's really not where you want to be. And that Tracer getting away on literally a single point of health. There goes the blade. Let's see if Muhiki can make something happen, even without the nano. Coming up to this horse, gonna get the May here. I don't think gonna find anything else, but that's gonna be a real flashy moment.
I mean, they're gonna pop the orbital ray for both sides here, but because University of Houston invested it the way they did, it's massive disadvantage for Parasurge, and may find one, but I don't think it'll be much more.
The bomb coming down, but I don't think it's going to get any. I think it's going to get a little bit of damage on Alizu, but it's not going to find anything. That's going to be the Moira down, meaning they are out of supports for Houston here.
Yeah, that was an attempted forced fight from Houston that I really don't agree with. They ended up using 4 ults per side. Drill Killer will be over to the BAP, as well as Scarlet Speed onto the ROM. The ROM I don't think is the best option here. Could have stayed the course on the Orisa, could have tried to go onto the Brig with it. But the problem is, with how the ultimates went through, Elysia's about to have another Terra, and they have the Deadeye for this.
Yeah, this is not looking good for University. I really think that they need to rethink their role in this matchup, where it feels like they're trying to sort of... I don't want to be rude, but it feels like they don't understand that they're the weaker team. And it feels like, I think that you can win as the weaker team. I think you just have to be very aware of it.
You can't say that they don't think that they're the weaker team after saying I don't need to be rude. That's the most rude thing you could have said.
No, I'm saying I think that they could be playing a lot better. I think that you have to be aware of when you're going against somebody who can beat you at your own game. Like, you need to be aware of your role in a match.
Yeah, if you're willing to go for something like that, then yeah, but I mean, Boop will stop the touch. Goes the first, unable to get a whole lot going. Blizzard goes awry. That is a good round for CSU.
That was very strong from CSU. I feel like that's definitely going to put a little bit of fear into University of Houston's heart here. See, Alizu with the play of the game. I'm trying to think of where this is.
Gonna be. I mean, this is the thing about Orisa. It's one thing you hear a lot in, like, particularly commentators. You don't, or content creators. You don't hear a lot in commentary. But it is University of Houston. We got baited. I think they think it's University Canon or something. But where was I on my point?
Something that's said by not by commentators, but by content creators.
What was it though?
Talking about Orisa, the thing that content creators talk about, creators don't.
I forgot. I am a professional at my job.
We here at CSU Esports know what we're talking about.
I blame.
Until we don't.
I blame the guy that is currently highlighted by the producer's mouse. Muhiki. I blame Muhiki because he told me that they weren't university. Mouths are very crucial. That is something you'll hear commentators do. Believe it or not, you'll hear their mouths.
That's such a. I mean, technically. Yes.
Well, really, you don't hear their mouths a lot. You'll actually hear their vocal cords, but you'll hear their throat, not their mouth, unless they really like the letter P.
A bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
We might be going to King's Row.
I mean, I don't think I need to say it. I think you already know my opinion on King's Row.
Say it. Look, it's tradition at this point.
At least you didn't select the map, so I do think that this is... I do think that it favors the current setup for CSU a little bit more. It is very much a dive map in the current day and age. Alizu needs a little bit of help on his Winston, I think, but outside of that, Muhiki is here to play the Genji. He's here to play the Tracer. And both those characters are extremely good on the current version of Kings.
I was loving Muhiki's Genji throughout that entire previous round.
Yeah.
It felt like I understand why they made that decision, and I'm frankly incredibly ecstatic to be seeing Genji again.
I mean, yeah, like, Uhiki is a general really strong player. He's scrimming against like another team that he's on, scrimming against like some of the best in the West. When it comes to, I said it before, out of all the players at CSU, Uhiki is the closest to being a blue name on Liquid. Basically, just go to Liquipedia, search up a player, find their name.
It means their name's blue.
And argue with that.
Initiating
Is
match.
literally true.
Absolutely. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, their name will be blue if they've got a blue name on Wikipedia.
Kings Row.
I like this man. We know your opinion.
Post. Not quite that bad. I do have some post trauma.
Time Monster suffering from a little bit of post-traumatic King's disorder.
Ready
Yeah,
for
probably.
battle.
But
We're gonna see Captain Junior on the venture here. How do you feel about this competition?
what it tells me is that CSU don't quite know what they feel like playing today. Or not, they do know what they feel like playing, but they don't understand the importance of certain things, and they're possibly overcommitting to a certain style. But they know that they can beat University of Houston on that style. It's up to University of Houston to show that they can put up a fight against what CSU's bringing. However, at the same time, I think it's in CSU's best interest to throw a curveball here and go on to what the map's standard meta would be. Dive. Might be seeing it here. Oh, all right, no ball. But I did hear Alizu talking earlier about how the best player in the world, at ball, Junbin, plays the ball. Really thinking.
I kind of I like the theory of ball on King's Row.
I think Winston's generally better because he's more consistent, and I don't like the Zenyatta, and we're seeing why.
Yeah. What do you think the Zenyatta's bringing, and why do you think it's going to get shredded?
It's bringing a lost fight consistently until Transcendence is up, and you're not going to build Transcendence because University of Houston really surrounds CSU. If CSU's smart, they'll rush through Hotel the moment this cast peaks again. That should be their main target.
I think you got a good point there. Once that cast goes down, it feels like they don't have much on the side of long-range offense outside of maybe the Maze secondary fire.
And they can also just walk down the front line. It seems to work out, and you're just the better team. But yeah, they'll get their kills. They'll get their fight.
Yeah, it's... I feel like with, like... That was incredibly swingy. The moment the tank goes down, and it feels like this tank has been going down very, very quickly, mostly because Fuse has been burning them down. Like, the moment your tank goes down, you're not in a good position. You're in a terrible position, especially against a horse.
That should not happen. Just 2 DPS randomly dying. Those the first in particular on the Mei. Mei is a character who should be expected to live long in these fights and get at least one shift in. That is something that every Mei is expected to do.
Yeah, that's really not where you want to be as Mei. Like, you have a bunch of defensive options, and you just don't get a chance to use them, with CSU sitting on almost 4 ultimates here.
Again, not a hot take. Zen bad. Well, the rest of CSU has their ultimate. I really want just past the halfway mark on his. He is the second lowest player to their ultimate in the lobby right now, with Trill Killer being behind, but just made the switch himself. So, not a big fan of the Zenyatta.
I'm not a big fan of the Zenyatta either, but I think that I like Discord orders in theory. I think if you're just trying to shred someone...
The cost is just too great when you're playing.
Yeah.
Just go Alari at that point. If you want the long-range pressure damage, you go Alari. And by the way, while we're talking about it, CSU obviously winning a fight, they just pop 2 ults.
Muhiki pulled out a sword, we blinked, we were talking for a minute, and just everybody was dead.
Love me some. But, yeah, I mean, University of Houston are about to have the golden row. Troll Killer is 79, 81% to the Ant Matrix. I just think that IRL-U1 could be on almost any other.
I mean, if you're gonna go for the funny support, even Mercy would be a little bit funnier.
I don't think you should play the funny. That is an amazing spear spin to eat the Blizzard. CSU are not going to struggle this fight. IRL-U1. First interaction in the game, by the way.
They used their Terror Surge and then they died!
I mean, this is still looking like a losable fight. It's a 2v2, but unfortunately, as I say that, Alizu still lives. The tank is alive, therefore CSU win.
Exactly. You look at the beginning of that encounter. It looks like Houston's fight to sweep. The wall goes up, the Terror Surge goes down, you're in danger. But CSU immediately pulls it.
I mean, CSU eats the Blizzard. They have so few ultimates. IRL-U1 has been able to find so little that They didn't build up the Transcendence for the Blizzard. But Elysiu just eats it, goes fake, pops the Orbital Ray, and they're just a better team.
Oh my god, window!
Walk straight through it, though.
That's Orbital Laser.
I mean, this game is starting to get a little bit difficult to cast, because,
Stop! They're already dead!
my only point of criticism for CSU so far has been the Zenyatta, because it feels like University of Houston downtown has put up so little fight to anything else CSU's presented. No, panic swaps, Widowmaker on the right side, they see it out though.
They're gonna try and straight ball. See if it'll work out for him. No. Monster currently walking out of the... Don't leave me here!
To 3. Switching sides.
I don't think we need production make. Don't want to get a production make.
Initiating match.
You could use that as
Alright, Time Monster, how you feeling?
Oh my god. Okay, look. Some games are at the point where they border on uncastable. Right?
Yeah.
It's like when you see, you know, a Smash top player in pools. Or you see
Like when I had to commentate Ruby
Ruby
versus
versus
Sonics.
whoever. Really. Ruby versus whoever, including Sonics, right? And then you get to the point where one team or one player makes such an egregiously poor decision that...
Did they switch on to the Zen? Was that the play? To make them think Zen was good here?
No, that's not the play. Like, I'm so sorry. If University of Houston Downtown watches this VOD back, you are going to need therapy because of the words I am about to say. That might have been the single most pitiful attempt at a defense, despite the fact that the enemy team was giving you free picks consistently. That was...
Attackers incoming.
Subpar does not even begin to equate to that.
Everyone is playing like funny. He's playing funny characters.
Well, the Ilaria is what I said he should be on in the first place. And Muhiki dies. Okay.
They gotta lock in for this one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just autopilot into this variant of the Sigma composition quite as much as you can into the Orisa.
Yeah. How do you feel about this signal, by the way?
Well, I've said before, I do think that it is kind of like the natural order. It's like top of the food chain when it comes to this, or top of the food web perhaps, but Widowmaker, you know, an ace predator.
Yeah, turning on the... I feel like it's too mean to say turning on the aim hacks, but like those are some real good hits.
I mean, turning on the awareness and the...
Yeah, turning on the, like, not actual hacks, but the funny hacks.
Turning on the biological hacks. And that's 3 kills before this player has died, and the rest of his team is dead, and there we go, Muhiki will clean it up.
It was looking real swingy for University of Houston, and then it really wasn't.
There's no way you don't find Muhiki here. He just walks into your Zenyatta. You don't even clean it. The Terror Surge pulls them in.
Are you kidding me?
I know it ain't Val, but you gotta check your corners. Dude. CSU are playing with their food at this point.
Houston,
we have a problem.
I'm real excited for y'all to get real good and beat us.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Muhiki's gonna be able to take that Juno out of the equation.
The window and wall hacks coming down, or the demon wall hacks.
Infrasight is... I still argue it's the best ultimate in the game. People call me cracked out of my skull for that, but I see the vision.
I think it's one of the best. I think there's just also Orbital Ray in the game.
That's also true, but... I mean, the character's also bad, so it's hard to judge. CSU, this is what I was talking about before. I think CSU needs to throw a curveball at Houston to throw them off their game. Now that Houston has found their game, they found something that'll work for them, and CSU, they are the stubborn ones.
Hello.
It's definitely not the best place to be. I'm not sure if I'm not feeling the horse here.
I mean, Sigma is arguably Maurice's worst matchup. CSU could, in theory, go onto a Reinhardt here. It wouldn't be good.
I'm thinking the dive. I think
the dive is better.
Like, I would love to see like a Winston, a Diva here.
Winston specifically. I don't like the Diva Sigma matchup personally.
Fair enough. Just somebody. It's my main concept is that I think that you have to have the momentum or the mobility to like get in on that Sigma and just shred. Muhiki going down to the singing of the universe.
Yeah, the flux throws him up and he can't pop the ult when he's not on the ground, so no way to even fight back.
a little bit scary. There's going to be the Alizu or the IRU1 ultimate coming down. There goes the opposing. Oh my goodness!
That is the Ilari Classic. Press the ult, don't think anything will happen, then a 3K suddenly appears out of nowhere.
IRU1 for secretly playing a DPS character, apparently.
Oh, it ain't no secret. I'll tell you that right now. Ilari being a DPS ain't no secret. I think we all know that by now.
I mean, I can't say you're wrong, but I gotta give some sort of suspense.
Yeah, that's true. The suspense of disbelief, perhaps. I mean, now they have the Orbital Ray, though. They've got the Terra Surge. This is one of the best combos in the game.
Orbital Ray comes down. This is real scary for Houston.
Gotta be careful that Widowmaker, though. One play can make everything go awry. Might need to pop the Terra Surge just for survival. Doesn't go for it.
That's gonna be Alizu going down.
Now they need to back off CSU. I really want will take one before going down, but I do like this a little bit more. I'm sorry, University of Houston downtown. I didn't mean to be so brutal on you before.
I didn't recognize your game.
I recognized the game you were presenting me, but I didn't recognize this game. But this is looking like a much better look from them.
It's absolutely looking a lot better for them.
Especially given the fact that, like, CSU are playing quite stubborn into this. I do want to see them try to change something.
I do want to see a switch here, frankly. Oh my goodness, green to the double from Captain Junior's Deadeye here, taking down both the Zenyatta and the tank.
Mohiki just covering the flank just in case anybody tries to go for a cheeky back cap. Nobody will be present there. And yeah. That was two ultimates, or three ultimates from Houston with the Infrasight Deadeye and Orbital Ray, compared to CSU with, I believe that was only the Deadeye from them.
I think they have to, but like I don't entirely like Houston's usage here.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a team. I feel like CSU is a team in this situation where you have to be using a lot of tools, but at the same time, I think you need to be aware of like what tools you can use and what tools you really want to be saving. Because like that felt like a really bad use of Infrasight.
Yeah, like that's an ultimate that you are popping between, like before the fight when you have an advantage. It's not so much advantage creator unless you're flanking.
It creates context, not advantage.
Exactly. And that context can give you an advantage if you're willing to maybe take something as you do it, but I mean, Mohiki is isolated the Zenyatta. He should be able to get this one without a miracle defense. 12 HP. Will he survive? Pushes the Widowmaker to his team! And Elisa will find the spear!
Unfortunately, the only thing that's going to be the heavens is the earth, and the only thing that's going to be the earth is the spider here. Because the Zenyatta got killed.
Yeah, I'm mostly confused about the first half of that sentence. Because I didn't hear what the heck you were saying, because you stuttered a little bit.
I did. I don't know how to say, like, at this point, what is there to say?
English is a hard language.
English is a language that can be spoken. Unfortunately, it's not actually.
Yeah.
Arguably.
I mean, this Gravitic Flux, it does hit one, should be able to survive. The Ray will keep them alive. Elizu splits off! They don't have the right read on what everybody should be doing at that moment. They have a little bit of miscommunication. And that means second might just go away from them.
A little bit scary, but at the same time, I don't like the Transcendence usage.
I mean, yeah, like, I do think it was a little bit forced. They could have tried to save it, particularly for this fight. But at the same time, it was a 2 for 2 ults. CSU are 3% to the 2 ults they just used from the 2 most recent heroes. But this is the time to pop Infrasight. This is a great time to pop that ultimate.
This is what Infrasight was made for.
At absolute best for CSU, you're just sitting back for 15 seconds and you can't push.
And like, frankly, I think that's scary, but I think with what CSU has in board, I think that's kind of fine.
It's going to be a dive there from Mohiki onto the high ground. A little bit of space taken.
Everyone goes down to the... Like, I think this Widow is, like, this feels like a Widow 1 trick. Terra Surge!
That is massive.
Oh my goodness! The redouble with a Terra Surge trying to follow it up. Mohiki's trying to get the kill!
There we go. Mohiki finds it, but the payload is still pushing. It's only Mohiki alive. The accretion will keep him back there, but it's a 1v1 part.
Zenyatta with the 1v1 with IRU1 here. Let's see who's going to be able to take it. Switch to the Tracer.
Sigma back on the field. IRU1 has the rally if he needs to pop, but I doubt that he will. And Elizu with a potential rage swap onto the Hog.
30 seconds, we're going to see. It's going to be the Tracer going down.
Get back to the Orisa off the Hog. I think that's a much better call. Not a big fan of the Roadhog. They need to end this now, actually. Oh, she's about to have Transcendence! It is cut!
Oh my, just literally right before the, like that would have been huge for Houston, but CSU denying them any sort of access to the Transcendence during this fight, and they're not going to get another one.
Maybe a touch here from 1Bet2.
They need the touch. They need to be touching this as much as possible.
Face clears it.
It's over. It's over.
That's map 2. Far too close on the defense for CSU. I think that they...
I think that's I think that's what I was talking about. I think that's CSU. They want to stay on this composition. And
maybe using it as practice time.
Okay, is this the 3? Is this the 3?
This has got to be the 3K. This is a support character. Remember,
comes in
support ultimate. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
And okay, not the 4th.
So look, if it was
Kovacs, hit the Kovacs. I'm sorry, I said I was gonna stop being so mean to players.
I don't know the references.
Kovacs is an aim trainer.
Yeah, I mean, that is a major part, although I feel like there are definitely characters in this game that you can play if you can't aim.
I mean, Ilari's not one of them, though. I'm just joking around. Obviously, an impressive play from iRealU1. I think once he got off the Zenyatta, he was looking a lot more comfortable.
Absolutely.
He is a former Flexport player for the team, but it has been a bit over a year since that was the case. So, you know, throwing in the Ilari, throwing in the Brig, a lot more in his wheelhouse, seeing him pull those out feels a lot better to watch.
I mean, I saw that Ilari. I definitely saw it.
Yeah, it was solid. It could have been better, but I mean, you don't need it to be better right now. You just need it to be adequate at the moment. Decent enough play. Now, though, University of Houston downtown has an opportunity to pick a map. I believe
it's push.
It's either push or flashpoint. I'm not entirely sure. I think that you want, if I'm University of Houston, I'm regretting not going for Circuit Royale based on how that map went.
Yeah, why would they not go on Circuit?
I don't think
was
they
Circuit
have
the
confidence in the Widowmaker. It could have been. They might have seen a Widowmaker on the other side, but I think it was the lack of confidence in them as well, even if that wasn't the ban. But University of Houston downtown does have a few options here. It does get a little bit more rough at this point, though.
Like, Houston, that Widowmaker was crazy. You should have gone to Circuit.
Yeah. I mean, there's also, I believe, Havana in the pool as well, if you want to go for that.
I mean, yeah, but, like, Circuit Royale is a map, like, think of every sightline on Circuit.
Circuit, believe it or not, has actually shifted in recent times. It's not
I don't
as
doubt
much
that,
Sigma.
but, like...
It's more so, like, leading into the Ramatra brawl, which means that it's leading into the Orisa brawl. As weird as that sounds, in the modern day and age, Orisa might be meta on Circuit Royale, but at the same time, Sigma still is very good on that map. Therefore, if you're not playing ROM, you're playing into the Sigma's hands very heavily.
Like, you can play Ramatra. I think that's, like, that makes sense. I don't like Orisa on... I'm sorry. I don't like Orisa on Circuit Royale. Because you're just going to get headshot.
You say that, but Orisa also doesn't have damage fall off. And she also has very tight spread.
Yeah, she's going to get tight spread that's going to go directly into the Sigma shield.
Which you're fine with because you want to break the Sigma shield early.
Yeah, but while you're shooting at the Sigma shield, you're getting shot by the snipers.
That's also true. But also, you do have adequate enough swings. You can make for aggressive plays with the Fortify, with the Spear Spin. You have options as the Orisa player into that matchup. That makes it not look as bad as it could.
I don't think it's as bad as it could be, but I don't think it's particularly good.
It's not. The Sigma is objectively, I'd say, a counter to Orisa. Accretion is able to stun out a spin. It'll force her most important cooldown if she doesn't want to be stunned, and if she does get stunned, probably dead with a well-coordinated team. But
I also think we're going to see some sub-ins from University of Houston downtown.
Alchemy lost in for Doge the First. I'm not sure necessarily how much this will impact them, but a sub is a sub. Ugh. Excuse me. Clearly win or lose from this point forward, though, because we actually have a higher endorsement level, therefore we're worse. That's how that works.
True.
It's going to be Suravasa here as the map selection. I don't agree with this from University of Houston. You're just going back to the Orisa here with this map. If you're going to try to cheese something out, you've gone to the wrong dairy farm.
Yeah, no, How do you feel? I think you're kind of screwed either way because I wouldn't want to go to New Drunk either.
If you're forced into Flashpoint, I do think actually New Junk may just be a better map than Surabasa for some more ranged poke comps.
We're going to see some fabrics and textiles.
I do love fabrics and textiles.
We're going to see a market.
I'm a big fan of fabrics and textiles and bananas. Where's my back?
Why do they have to render the bananas bruised?
It's a metaphor.
Okay.
Hey, that's the new hero, totally.
You heard it here, folks.
That's hero, the next hero, the next tank hero.
They're putting Time Monster in the game, actually.
Woo! Yes, what are we waiting for? Let's go. And yeah, we're seeing no surprises here. Junior on the Cassidy. The only thing I would argue could be changed. That first round of Lijiang was especially good for Cassidy because it has that longer range. This map, Ash, I would say is better. You won't be disappointed with this.
We won't be disappointed.
Disappointed? Not to be happy.
So the speedrun coming out. How do you feel about these compositions?
I mean, like I said, I think that Cass could be replaced with an Ashe, and I would say CSU would have a stronger composition overall. But they want to get up close and personal, so the Cassidy does make some sense. Meanwhile, University of Houston, Sojourn Venture is very solid. Only problem is one of those characters is not very good, as well as Zenyatta.
Yeah, I don't like the Zen. Why are they running Zens?
We've asked
for the Sigma?
We've asked this question so many times for the Sigma potentially. Maybe you're just playing to poke out CSU here. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't like it.
I don't agree with it. I just want to understand what you're going for.
CSU are dropping low. Mudiki finds a magical pick in the back line. He will escape with his life with that too.
I love the restoration on kill of the ability. I think that it adds so much to Genji's play. That's going to be the Sojourn going down. CSU making some major plays into Houston here.
I kind of wish that if you reflected Juno's torpedoes that it would come back into her.
I think that'd be kind of sick.
Especially if the Genji managed to reflect a full team's worth and just killed her. I think it'd be funny. Granted, you only need 3 to kill her.
I mean, yeah, but insult to injury, you know?
True. And, I mean, speaking of that...
Speaking of injury, there goes the Sigma.
Speaking of Juno as well, Ghostface is 94, 95, about to have the orbital ray.
Both about to have the orbital ray, and I think in a situation where you're probably going to bring the orbital ray into the next fight.
I mean, if they are able to get this stagger, which doesn't seem like they will be, you really do want that stagger there. You could have potentially stopped them from getting onto point, CSU. Playing this one a little bit like kittens, going to give them some space here, but I just want to hold point.
I mean, they're at 92. They have to make a it is on Houston right now to make a play to take the point.
And they won't. And
they're not going to. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's the wrong decision. I can usually understand the choice not to recontest, but you need these ultimates off of the table.
Yeah, I think one quick forced fight to touch would have been nice to just, force maybe a Terra Surge, Deadeye. Even if you only get one out, you're still fine with that. The only problem is you build up the rest of the blade and the rally.
We're gonna see we're gonna see it come down, but it's gonna be countered by. We're gonna see the orbital laser plus the blade here, the lightsaber, I guess. As CSU tries to swing in, but they're gonna get countered by a bunch of different ultimates. But I think CSU's gonna still come out on top here.
It should just be they found 2 kills. Meanwhile, they have yet to drop a player and an attempted orbital ray here for Trill Killer. Not the best usage of that ultimate, especially because CSU can just get the heck out, and they will be fine. That is the 2 best ultimates for University of Houston. The 3 best ultimates were used there, and none of them found a lot.
I think Houston needs to be harmful holding their ultimates a little bit more.
Yep. Meanwhile, on the other side, CSU are looking to end this game in less than an hour.
This ends now.
Overclock.
Definitely playing a little bit of the speed game with Muhiki behind the tank, choosing not to get it. Muhiki has just been shredding the Zenyatta constantly. Oh my goodness, it keeps going!
I mean, I said before, tank lives, therefore you lose, but he will clean house.
Everybody's dead!
Everybody's dead.
Muhiki!
Yeah.
Who taught you?
Cap.
Who hurt you?
You don't know who Cap is, but Cap.
Sure, why not? Whoever that is, they have to be some forbidden Genji specialist.
He's a pilot coach.
Fair enough, I don't care, I'm giving narrative here. The entire point is Muhiki shredded the entire team.
And now they'll have the Deadeye, nothing available for University of Houston until that blade comes online. Muhiki just dives in the back line, just get a cheeky one-shot.
CSU is just playing incredible right now.
I mean, particularly Muhiki. It's hard to not say this guy's name over and over again the way he's playing.
With the way that Muhiki's playing, I don't know how we get his name out of our mouths.
We can talk about a couple of other things.
I mean,
with a nice 2K that fight as well.
Genuinely.
Alizu will have the Terror Surge this fight. That'll be their only ult, given the fact that Muhiki did pop that Dragon Blade.
It just came back in our mouths.
But in a negative light, so it's okay. Ghostface will have the Orbital Ray, though.
It cancels out.
Yeah, it's the law of equivalent change, whatever.
The game point game match point game match and game point here for Houston. They're gonna have to bring their A game.
This is getting real scrappy for CSU, and not in a good way. The push from Alizu was well overzealous, and then the follow-up Orbital Ray was even more so. That was a really bad fight from them. Communication issues all around.
I feel like they might have been feeling themselves a little bit too much.
I mean, I think they were miscommunicating. They were planning probably for the Orbital Ray plus the Terra Surge combo.
I see.
And Alizu pushes up, doesn't expect to get melted, gets melted anyways. And that is the thing with playing Take nowadays as well, right? Like, you're just going to get melted sometimes without noticing.
Yeah.
And now they're pushing into 4 ultimates, and yeah, it just gets melted. That's why you have to use the Fortify against the accretion, because you will just die.
Yeah. Zizou having to back up here. Definitely a little bit scary looking into 3 very powerful ultimates, but at the same time, I feel like if CSU can just kind of bait these out, they're in a real good position.
I mean, yeah, but like they have to do a lot of baiting and they don't have a lot of resources to do so. This is probably a point going over to University of Houston unless CSU can find something a little bit unorthodox, perhaps. And Matrix might just seal the deal, though.
Window comes down.
It's looking like a touch prepared for Muhiki. He dashes, or just slides right through like there's nothing wrong.
Universe is singing, like, we were talking about those ultimates, but the only one they've got on the
No! Rival U1 just knocked the Sigma off the map!
Oh my god! This was their point! This was their dream! This was the beginning of their run back, and they've lost it! All they've got is a blade to their name!
And a couple of single-digit ult charges. They switch off to Juno. They are panicked. They are flustered. They thought they had that in the bag. They used 3 there. And CSU punished all the tiny little mistakes that they saw. And they played it a lot better. Alizu didn't get melted early. He's respecting the accretion now. Nade will be big.
Nade's huge. It forces Muhiki to not drop it. Here comes the blade. Let's see if he can make another swing with it. Chasing down this Ana. Ana is dead. Baptiste is in the grave 6 feet under. There goes the other Genji. There can only be one, and it's Muhiki!
This is looking like this might just be the end of times here for University of Houston. They were ready for the most part out of contention for the NACE playoffs, but CSU are sealing any hopes and dreams they had left.
What do you do if you're Houston?
Surrender.
Cry!
Give up.
Like, Houston, y'all played your best.
That's the only thing they can do at this point, clutch. 97, 98, 99, I don't even think they have a touch. It will be the Dragon Blade.
Nice Dragon Blade.
Down. What's stronger, your gun or your sword or my gun?
It's like that one scene from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, right? Like, just pulling out the sword and all these crazy...
This has to be the Muhiki 5. This has to be the Muhiki 5, right?
It's either the Muhiki 4K, which I don't think...
It was 5, I thought.
I don't think he got 5.
Play of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be the Muhiki 4K.
I think I really want
No, it's the ending one!
Okay.
Muhiki, I was already screaming about this one, but it's just you let Muhiki in the back line, and what are you gonna do?
It was almost a 4K. That one was a 3K.
That was insane.
It's a good way to end the... Or not, I believe it's a good way to rebound after last week, their losses they had, but... real
Absolutely.
quick, just gonna go grab one of the players for a quick interview. Well, we didn't have the transition that we meant to. There we go. We got it in the end. Yeah. And somebody's messing up my transition too, because that's supposed to have a 350 millisecond delay, so you don't see it before the transition goes out. But that's besides the point.
I don't know what whoever did something. Okay, I don't know. Every single time I click transition, it doesn't pull up this finger. It keeps going back. So don't blame me.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard any of that, but I was just good 3-0 win today from you guys. What were you feeling during that match? Because to me, like map 1, especially the first half of map 2, didn't look like there was much to feel.
Yeah, and there wasn't really much to feel. I mean, we adjusted to playing this like new like Orisa kind of style, and we've been doing really good at it. I don't know. I think we're really good at this comp.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we keep on doing things well enough.
Yeah, hearing those words, hearing we are really good at Orisa here at CSU is starting to give me some problems in my brain, because that was exactly what we said last year. Deja vu. But besides that.